The National Audit Office has issued a severe warning. Nearly half of England's councils are on the verge of bankruptcy, grappling with a colossal £4.6 billion deficit. In response, ministers are contemplating unprecedented council tax hikes, potentially soaring up to 25% to salvage these sinking ships, which is what governments and officials do. Instead of reforming these unsustainable entities, they ask the likes of you and me to cough up with more money so they can carry on wasting more money. But here's the bitter pill. While councils cry out financial bankruptcy, many have been quietly hoarding substantial reserves. The Taxpayers Alliance have looked into this, and they can reveal overall total usable reserves across councils totaled a whopping £47 billion in 2024. Epping Forest, for example, raked in £86 million from a land sale, yet still put up the council tax by 4.99%. Or Milton Keynes, where usable reserves grew by £78.8 million, that's 29%, but the council tax for Milton Keynes went up by 4.99% too. Simeon Lee, the policy analyst at the Taxpayers Alliance, said, local taxpayers will rightly be concerned that some of the councils are filling their coffers at the expense of the residents. For years, town halls have hiked council tax while pleading hardship. These figures expose the truth. Many are hoarding cash while locals struggle. Ministers must act to stop excessive reserves and ensure councils are transparent with taxpayers. Enough is enough. The average Band D council tax bill in England has more than tripled over the past 30 years, a real-term increase of 79%. Despite this, councils continue to cry for more funds, pushing the narrative that without further tax hikes, essential services will crumble. Alarmingly, over 90% of councils are gearing up to impose the maximum tax hikes permitted, with some like Windsor and Maidenhead seeking astronomical increases of up to 25%. And what does the taxpayer get in return? More crime on the streets and more useless police, crumbling roads and infrastructure, etc. But maybe more rainbow flags and Ramadan lights. The National Audit's recent report underscores the urgency of reform, highlighting that council finances are increasingly unsustainable and in dire need of overhaul. Yet instead of addressing these systematic inefficiencies, the burden is being shifted onto taxpayers, many of whom are already grappling with the escalating cost of living. I mean, if private landlords increase their rents, the government would be all over them with legislations. But when it's government, yeah, let's tax people more. Easy solution. And despite all this corruption, inefficiency and mismanagement in local government, you don't see anyone protesting, do you? No, because the establishment has manipulated the activist class to protest for things like Gaza and other causes that have nothing to do with the ordinary people. The activist class are out protesting for refugees are welcome to put even more burden on the councils. Isn't it funny that the only time you see efficiency in the civil service and local authorities is when they're engaged in revenue collection? Everything else they are completely useless with, but with revenue collection, they excel. It's high time for transparency and accountability. Taxpayers deserve to know why they're being asked to dig deeper into their pockets while councils sit on burgeoning reserves. The narrative of perpetual financial crisis doesn't hold water when juxtaposed against these stockpiled funds. Ministers must act decisively to curtail excessive reserves and ensure councils are forthright with taxpayers. As Simeon Lee from the Taxpayers Alliance said, enough is enough. If you think so too, please leave your comments, subscribe and share the video. Thank you.